Hello and welcome to the sideboard here at SCG Richmond. My name is Ruben Bressler and I am joined by Pro Tour Hollywood champion and green aficionado in terms of a lot of the decks that you like to play, actually.
Yeah,
Charles Gindy has joined me, and today we have the greenest of decks.
Greenest of green decks.
We have a deck I've been calling Beast Caller. Basically the idea is to power out Garrick, Caller of Beasts, on turn 3. And you have 20 mana creatures to be able to do that.
Yes, we do. We have 20 mana creatures, 12 one-drop mana guys, Avacyn's Pilgrim, Arbor Elf, Elvish Mystic, and then we're playing Scornful Villager and Elvish Archdruid to make sure we can get to our Garrick as fast as possible.
Right. You actually have a lot of ways to be able to power out the new 6-mana Garrick, which we will talk about in a moment. Turn 1, you have 12 mana guys, 4 Arbor Elf, 4 Elvish Mystic, and 4 Avacyn's Pilgrim, which you mentioned.
Yep.
And then for turn 2, you can either add 2 more 1-drops, or Elvish Archdruid will also help you power out to a turn 3 6-mana cost creature.
Yeah. Now we're not playing a lot of big creatures necessarily, mostly just elves, so it's kind of like a little green creature deck, but it has a big trump.
Right, and the big trump at the end is Garrick, Caller of Beasts, 4 of, to be able to put 4 of Craterhoof Behemoth into play and hoof them as hard as possible. This entire deck, by the way, 9 4-ofs.
9 4-ofs.
Pretty much the cleanest deck that you can have, plus all the lands are also 4-ofs?
Yes, all the lands are 4-ofs. It's 4 Gavany Township, 4
Sun Petal Grove, 4 Temple Garden,
and then 11 Forests.
Sure.
It's 10 Forests.
Or 10 or 12, whatever.
It's 11 Forests because we have 1 Cavern.
Oh, sure.
We have 1 Cavern, and it's mainly for the 9th white source for our sideboard.
Got it. Excellent. And we'll get to the sideboard in a second, but I want to talk about Garrick, Caller of Beasts, which is the whole point of playing this deck.
Yes.
So,
absolutely.
You decided that Garrick was something you wanted to abuse, and the best way to abuse that was to attack for 1,000,000 the turn that you can activate, the turn that you can cast it.
Right.
What's the earliest kill you've had so far?
Turn 4. I've had 2 turn 4s where it's just like Elf into Elvish Archdruid and like 4 Elves into Curator Hoof very easily. I haven't gone turn 3 Garrick yet, but we had a bunch of those draws during playtesting. Mostly because I've been bonfired so many times. But even with all the bonfires, I'm still easily winning just because you gain so much card advantage off of this one card.
Yep, Garrick, Caller of Beasts just garners so much card advantage. Another card that you have to be able to supplement your card advantage, you have Elvish Visionary, which is another elf to be able to power out your Archdruids, but you also have Garrick Relentless as a source of card advantage.
Yeah, we wanted not just big Garrick, but little Garrick. One, it's a good removal spell. It helps us, since we're just a bunch of little 1/1s, we can power out a bunch of 2/2s, and the best part about it is obviously tutoring up Craterhoof Behemoth very easily.
Yeah, and you can use the Garrick the Veil Cursed -1 on the back to do that.
Yes.
You can even use the Overrun ability as a pseudo Craterhoof sometimes in games where they go long. You've been bonfired once or twice, so very resilient card. But an interesting thing, this deck wouldn't have worked had they not made the Planeswalker uniqueness rule.
Right, that's correct.
Because Garrick Relentless would have had to stay in play, and you couldn't have been able to drop your Garrick Caller of Beasts.
Right.
So,
there was a game, one of the other people playing this deck, Paul Hayworth, sacked a creature with Garrick Relentless, got Craterhoof, then played his other Garrick to put it into play to deal Xaxes.
Nice.
When the old legend rule, you would have just been stuck with Garrick in his hand and Craterhoof and everything and just wouldn't have been able to play the game.
And so you mentioned that there were lots of people in the room playing this today. It was originally a Kenny Castor idea?
Yeah, Kenny Castor was the originator of the deck about a week ago, and he's been tweaking it throughout the week. Me and CVM started helping him, and Paul Hayworth also picked up on it.
Chris Van Meter and Paul Hayworth playing a similar version with a different splash.
Right, Paul Hayworth playing a different splash, me, CVM, and Kenny all on the same this list.
Speaking of the white splash, in the main deck it's just for Gavany Township.
Just for Gavany Township.
In the sideboard we have some other options, and that's where the Cavern comes in, which is you have Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, in the sideboard to be able to deal with the blue-white flash decks.
The blue-white flash deck, the Esper decks. It's also pretty good against the Jund deck since it slows down their bonfire a little bit. Like, if they have to cast it out of their hand for 2, it's really important for them to not cast it on turn 5 because that one extra turn lets us get a Garrick into play or any of these essential things.
And on the play, it can shut off Farseek on turn 2, which is very important as well. The other white card we have on the sideboard is Ray of Revelation. A concession to the Bant Hexproof Mass. Yeah,
concession to the Bant Hexproof Mass. Also, we wanted to answer to Chris at Deathhold. We thought it might be big this weekend, so we wanted to play them. Like, I'm not happy boarding it against Jund, but it might be a necessary. It might just be better as an acidic slime, but we really wanted something faster than acidic slime.
And pretty much all the Jund decks that I've seen, well, not all, I would say about 75% of the Jund decks around the room have one of the two big heavy hitter enchantments in their sideboard, either the new M14 Primeval Bounty or Dead Bridge chant, as opposed to Staff of Nin, because Putrefy is so popular in the Jund mirror, so they moved to the enchantments, which is better for you with being able to take it out with Ray of Revelation.
Yeah, since they are going on those big enchantments, and we know they're also boarding in possibly the Curse of Deathfold, we wanted those Ray of Revelations.
Absolutely. And so there's a couple other interesting sideboard options here. Thrag Tusk making an appearance in the sideboard, I think we understand what that role sort of feels.
Yeah.
Similar with Fog.
Yeah, concessions to mono red and band hexproof, etc.
Pithing Needle, sort of a non-traditional answer to some problem permanents, mostly Planeswalkers.
Yes, mostly Planeswalkers. Olivia is another huge one. It's good against Jund. It stops a bunch of different interactions there, and it's also pretty good against the Esper decks, since you can just shut off their Drown Yard, their main way to win, or their Aetherlings. So,
yeah, turning them into 4/5s usually not great, but against your deck,
whatever. Who cares? I can block those all day long.
And the last card in your sideboard is an exciting one that I really like.
Yeah.
Elder Scale Worm.
Yeah, the one of Elder Scale Worm. It's really sweet. I've cheated into a play on turn 3 against mono red, so
and then they couldn't.
They just cannot win. Their only answer is a Mark of Mutiny, and they have to get you low enough for the Mark of Mutiny to be actually relevant. So. Yeah, it's a really sweet card. Basically, mono red can never beat it. Any of the mid-rangey, like red-green decks, only way they can beat it is by bonfiring for 7.
Sure.
So, against Naya...
That's a lot.
Yeah, Naya mid-range, any of the other green decks, you just slam an Elder Scale Worm and they stare.
Absolutely. Yeah, so the closest I ever got to winning my Ohio State championships was a top 4 appearance with 4 Nissa Ravains in my deck, 4 Eldrazi Monuments, very similar to this deck.
I like that deck a lot, too. Yeah.
That deck was a ton of fun, and this is very similar. This is my kind of deck, man.
Yeah, I like it a lot. As long as people don't move towards, multiple Curse of Deathfolds, I think you're fine. You're really resilient with your Planeswalkers. Your mana sets you up for your Planeswalkers, so, even if they Wrath, you don't care. You've already refilled your hand with Garrick Caller of the Beast, or you have Garrick Relentless in play already, and you're just churning out dudes, and you can beat them easily. All the resiliency is with Gavin Township and your Planeswalkers.
Absolutely. And one thing that I've noticed is, because Burning Earth is a card, there's a return to basic lands.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Our mana bases aren't the most expensive cards in our deck anymore.
Exactly. I played against a guy, mono red player, playing Burning Earth main. He played it on turn 4, and I just kind of casually tapped my forest and activated my Gavin Township anyways.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a ton of fun. I'm calling it Beast Caller. We may have a different name for it in the future. There's 20 mana guys, so we could just call it Mono Green Elves, but that's kind of boring.
Yeah, it is kind of boring, but it's sort of an elf deck, since Selfish Arch Druid is a main part of the deck, but it could also be like a Crater Hoof deck, because there's 4 of everything.
It's Hoof 2, Electric, Boogaloo, whatever. But definitely check this deck out. I think that if I played in a standard tournament, this probably would have to be the deck that I play, because this is my deck, man. Yeah, this is the kind of deck I love.
It is. It's really fun. I think anybody who wants to play a green creature deck, this is better than any of the Naya or green-white or even green-red. I think red-green is good, but this is the best green deck.
Absolutely. So if you want to attack for 80 on turn 4, it's a deck for you. For Charles Gindy, I'm Ruben Bressler here at Star City Games Richmond.
Thanks, guys.